Hello, everybody out there in comic book land. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don, and if you're here, you're only here for one reason, and that's a brand new episode of the Major Issues podcast brought to you by Comic Book Clique. But we're checking names on the door, and you better be on the list, and you better have your black tie attire ready because this is a black tie gala, and I'm not here by myself. Sir, introduce yourself.
I am Cloudus Maximus. Your Cloudus Maximus.
And Cloudus Maximus and myself are both dressed to the T's, and that's because this episode of Major Issues is the 2017 CBC Awards. You know that? The people are happy. The people are happy to be part of such a monumentous episode of Major Issues. We did these awards last year on YouTube, but this time we wanted to go a little bit of a long form with it so we could sit here and talk about the nominees and some of the greatest things to happen in comic books and comic book media in 2017. Last year was a blast. We had to bring it back this year. Are you excited to hear about the nominees and about the winners of everything in 2017?
Let's do it.
We had a hell of a year. 2018 already shaping up to be a great year. Black Panther demolishing at the box office, and we got Infinity War, Venom, so much stuff coming. But let's take a second to look back. We're always looking forward at what the next thing is going to be. Oh, so-and-so was casted for this, and this movie is now in production. But let's go back and see where we've gotten. We've got a lot of good comic book gifts throughout the years. I wanted to take a second and go to the 2016 CBC Awards and talk about the very first CBC Awards that we did, Comic Book Clique Awards, because we had some phenomenal nominees and some phenomenal categories here. Like, for instance, we did Coolest Moment of 2016, with the nominees being The Punisher in Prison. Do you remember that? You have Frank Castle.
Lots of blood. It was messy.
I mean, seeing the Punisher in prison is kind of what let me know, like, okay, they got this down. Like, this is Frank Castle. He's pulling like a piece of wood out of his forearm and just.
I was just thinking about that when you said that. I was like,
that's the scene I always remember. And just like he just like the way he hulks himself up, like hypes himself up, and starts to yell. Punisher. I mean. Scenes like this eventually gave it its own show. Right. Which I have not finished. Just so much on the docket, but I hope to break into some of that too. But that moment alone had to be nominated. Punisher just going crazy. And then we had Batman saving Martha from...
Why did you say that name?
from Batman v Superman. This is not the Martha moment people speak of. I think it's one of the best moments of the movie, but watching that Arkham Asylum slash Arkham City kind of...
room in the warehouse.
Yeah, when he just drops down. I mean, he killed a good handful of people there, which is not a Batman thing. But man, we've never seen him move like that before. There's a scene where he's like on his back, and they're trying to attack him, and all he can do is block with his gauntlets. And he's just on his back. Like, where can he go from there?
Hands be.
And then you have that scene of when he gets stabbed, and he pulls the knife out. And he looks at the guy like, Did you just stab me? Hold on.
And he gets shot. He gets shot in the back of the head, bro.
Real close.
Yeah, real close. Like
real close.
Once or twice, and then he just turns around real quick. And
I do like how they have established that cowl is basically bulletproof. Yeah, because he does look kind of silly with it, but at least it has some kind of usage. 2 ears sticking out the side, but it stops bullets.
You're shot in the head, bro.
Yeah, but you had I'm a friend of your son's. Yeah, I guess because of the cape. Like that was like legit a good moment in that movie. How does that moment look to you now when you think of like Justice League and stuff? Or BVS in general, I guess.
I mean, first of all, I love that scene. Like, I still go back now
and watch it.
Yeah, and watch it. Just him throwing the big the crate at the dude, and you see his brain splatter against the wall. Yeah, that was crazy. But now you see the same style in Batman versus Superman.
As in Justice League?
As in Justice League, yeah.
I feel like this Batman was a little bit more... Well, I guess he was fighting regular people in this. When you're fighting parademons, it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Had to switch it up for the parademons.
And that might be, Batman's kryptonite, right? Is like, once you put him in an extraordinary scenario, he kind of just seems like a regular person compared to the gods on the Justice League who are super fast or immortal, basically, or actual gods like Diana. and stuff. But I thought that moment was awesome. We had Highway Hijinks with Deadpool. This is basically the 12 bullets.
I go back to watch that a lot too, man.
It's amazing. You can literally pop that movie in at any time, and you're going to watch it through because it's so entertaining. It's nonstop, just entertaining. If you like action, tons of action. If you like jokes, tons of jokes. If you like comic stuff, Easter eggs galore. When he's out there saying, which Professor X, McAvoy or Stewart.
Thomas gets so confused.
Yeah, he's wearing the brown pants. Like, there's so many one-liners in that. I thought it was amazing. It's like, your girlfriends might be looking at you right now like, what the heck is going on? He just turned him into a kebab. That was the introduction to that character, right? I mean, a lot of the hijinks stuff was what we saw in that leaked footage.
Yeah,
that was supposedly the kind of first trailer.
Yeah.
And people knew from then that it was amazing. That it was going to be hilarious. Have you seen this man? And it's like a stick figure drawing. It's so good. And when they do the slow motion credits, right, and you can see everybody almost like in pain in slow motion, like the guy has the cigarette burner in his mouth.
And
in
the car.
People are flipping, and then when everything's in slow motion and they just cut it to fast motion all of a sudden, and the guy spins and hits the street sign and just kind of like melts off of it like a tomato hitting a sign or something. It's like so gory, it's so hilarious. If he wasn't making those jokes, it probably would have been a lot more dark. But it's funny that he could just sit there and do that. Another coolest moment was Heroes versus Aliens, our first ever crossover for CW, and man, really, really good.
I'm gonna just put it out there. Can I get more crossovers? I mean,
I
get. It's not that it's like needed, but it's just like selfish for me.
The thing is, I would argue that these superhero stories need to be told on television because then you need to have the episodic storytelling, just like you have issues for storytelling, and then you do your big ones, your season finales or your annuals. And with this, by the time Heroes and Aliens come out, you've known Arrow for 5 years. Yeah. You've known Barry for 3. You've known, you've had these time with these heroes. Supergirl was the newbie on the block, and because with Legends, a lot of those guys were from other shows. So Supergirl being the newbie on the block, it was cool to see her react
with everybody and interact with everybody.
Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say. You got to see her chop it up with everybody, and you got to see Arrow not trust her.
Yeah.
Which actually leads into the next crossover.
So you're kind of still an alien, too, Yeah,
I don't really. Yeah, we're fighting aliens, and you're kind of an alien. I don't know if you see the difference between there. And you had some really, really cool action scenes with that. And speaking of cool, man, Quicksilver to the rescue from X-Men Apocalypse. That's what the sweet dreams are made of these.
Holy crap, man.
And that, I mean, like, look at that year, right? We had so much in that year.
Man.
And, such a great scene. You almost remove it from the movie because of how good it is. Seeing him save everybody
and everybody downstairs,
and how he tosses them, knowing where they're gonna land, make sure everybody lands safe. He basically evacuates
the whole house.
Yeah, he evacuates an entire mansion. And at the time of the explosion, it seems helpless. Like we're all wow, everyone's about to die, and then you see the bumblebee flapping in slow motion, its wings, and then it's like, oh no.
I smiled when that happened. I was like, because I already knew what time it was. So I was like, yes.
Oh, it was amazing. And then what one coolest moment of 2016, the airport battle from Civil War. I think that thing's only going to be topped by whatever they can pull off in Infinity War. But
I think so. I know so.
I was very happy that was chosen because I had never seen something like that before. This is out of the pages of a comic book, or maybe Spider-Man the Animated Series, which I felt like was the one that got to play with the most characters. Even in Batman Animated Series, like no one showed up there. Like Superman showed up like once, and then Batman eventually goes to the Justice League. But with Spider-Man, he got to hang out with Cap and Iron Man and Punisher and these guys, and to see his inclusion into Civil War, which was also a humongous deal, right? Because we hadn't had Spidey. We got Spidey back.
Sandbox.
Got Spidey back. Our first introduction to T'Challa. Giant Man.
Everybody playing.
Great stuff. So Airport Battle took that and ran with it. Completely, blew the other choices away. And that was the coolest moment. I wanted to differentiate coolest moment that year with Final Showdown, which is, basically the last showdown between the villain and the hero of the story. With the nominees of that, and for last year, we had the Trinity versus Doomsday, which was okay, you got to see. I like to see the teamwork of them when you're throwing the spear, and the lasso stuff. Diana cuts off an arm.
I love when
things
the
like
teamwork
that.
is right in those movies, so I
Yeah.
can't complain.
I wish it was more like the X-Men. Remember the knuckleball special or whatever, fastball special?
Throws Wolverine.
Yeah, I wish it was more teamwork on that sense, but it was pretty good. You had Enchantress versus the Suicide Squad, which I think was probably the worst one on the list, only because she seemingly has powers that she can just kill them, and she chooses to like hand-to-hand fight them, to the point that when she kind of loses or is losing the hand-to-hand fight, she goes, "Enough!" and pulls all their weapons away anyway, and it's like...
I mean, she wanted to recruit them, so
Yeah, I
eventually
guess so. Yeah.
Noble warriors.
Noble.
Here?
We the bad guys. Don't forget, we the bad.
Yeah, that's true. Don't forget,
don't forget, we the bad guys. Doctor Strange bargaining with Dormammu.
That
was amazing.
I saw that. As a matter of fact, I saw that. I put that on yesterday.
It still holds up?
Yeah, it still holds up, man.
It's amazing.
It still holds up, bro.
What are you doing? Release me.
What is this?
What is this? He was so. But him finding out, he stands out in this team because everything else is a big spectacle almost.
And he's pretty much died more than anybody.
At this point, yes, double-digit deaths for Doctor Strange, Doctor Stephen Strange, his sacrifice fighting Dormammu. You had probably the most personal fight, Iron Man against Captain America with Winter Soldier in Civil War, which broke our hearts watching. It was amazing. You only get to fight that personal with people who've been together on screen for 10 years. And I can't wait for them to get back together and be friends already. Like, shut up, just shake hands and be friends in Infinity War. Because, come on, man. Just everyone needs to be friends. And then what won that year was Flash racing Zoom. The final, remember, Zoom basically tells Flash that the only way he will leave is if he races him.
Season from Flash.
So good. And then at the end of that, we get the time wraiths that pull Zoom away, and we get our Black Flash. A Black Flash of Death. So that was really, really good. I thought Zoom did an amazing job that year. That season was also really, really good too.
I was going bananas during that season.
That's our introduction to the Earth 2 in general.
Yeah.
The multiverse, which is a big step to declare that they have multiverses. They didn't even declare that, to my knowledge, in the movies. So Flash got ahead of that. And Zoom, like I said, Zoom was a brand new debut that year, but we were talking about the actual debuts as far as movies were concerned in 2016, with the nominees being Harley Quinn.
We were blessed last year. I mean, every year is a blessing. I'm not gonna,
let's say in 2017, but trust me, there will be stuff to gush about in 2016. Let's stay there right now. But in 2017, I think we got it. We got a good list too. But Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, who was probably the breakout of that film, you would say.
That's true. Besides Deadshot,
Leto looked the most dramatic, but I don't know if he was anyone's favorite. I mean, there are people who are fans of him, but I think Harley Quinn was one that you go, wow, that's like almost, if you had to draw it, that's what it looks like. I think she did a great job, and they almost put the movie around her besides Deadshot.
Yeah, that's
I kind of like my Arrow Deadshot.
I kind of do too.
John.
Yeah, John.
Come on,
John. I think Will Smith killed it. I think they got the right dude for the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna.
Well, I mean, I am
not
scared.
Not that it's bad or anything like that, but I like it.
I'm scared to think about what that movie is without Will Smith. Right? If he's not in there cracking jokes and he's not in there lighting things up, who's doing it? Ain't nobody else.
Yeah, it's true.
It gets a little crazy there. We got introduced to T'Challa for the first time in Black Panther, and with T'Challa we get the mention of Wakanda, we get T'Chaka, we get the ring,
T'Challa's pappy.
we get the suit, we get the move captain and all that kind of stuff.
Then why did you run?
I argue that if they didn't get the character that as right here, he wouldn't have worked in Black Panther.
I mean, they
set up for a lot of what his mentality is and how he thinks in that film. The way he held himself, the way he fought, all that stuff.
I don't have to say nothing now.
We're big. Because I think about it, right? Like, there's so many people who had no idea who that character was until they saw him there, and that first impression was good enough to then go see the movie.
Dry run.
So, great work there, and right next to him is Spider-Man. Right, him and Spider-Man show up in the same film as a debut.
I can't play favorites.
You can't play favorites. Can you remember what your reaction was to seeing Tom Holland the first time as Spider-Man?
Yeah. I mean, besides seeing it in the because obviously I played the trailer back like
a million times. I mean, we were here when we saw the trailer for the first time.
He did the backflip onto the truck and whatnot. But in the airport, he freaking killed it. But I go back to see more or less at the same amount as the airport scene as Tony goes to go see Peter.
Yeah.
So and then he walks in. There's Aunt May.
And in the same way with Black Panther.
And I didn't think I was gonna get Aunt May or anything like that. So that was big.
That's the thing. With the same way with Black Panther, they got a lot of what makes Peter Peter in that little bit of time that he's on screen. You get to see him.
Yeah,
you know that he's an inventor.
Go in his room.
You know that he's an inventor. You know that he likes to what do they call that? Like play around with electronics because he's bringing home like an old VCR when you first see him. You know he lives in Queens. You get to see that he doesn't live in a mansion or any of that kind of stuff there. They set up a lot of that stuff, and then how eager he was to help continues in Homecoming. You know we get to see that for the first time in Civil War. So I thought that was a great debut. Punisher again, blew people away, like literally and figuratively, and enough so that he got his own show.
That's not how it works, Red.
Yeah, you can't protect them, Red. Oh, he was so good though. Like, you hit them, they get up. I hit them and they stay down. Oh, that was so good. And I feel like John Bernthal was made for that role. You know, he was very much Shane for The Walking Dead.
For The Walking Dead.
And why do they keep coming? Boom, boom. Why do they keep? It's the same stuff, but he did so good. But the man that won debut, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in Deadpool. It fit on paper.
And it's coming back.
Yeah, it fit on paper. We should have known how awesome it was gonna be. But he is so much that character that it's crazy. It's bananas.
It was so much more than what we expected. Because when they gave us the test footage, we were going crazy. But when the movie came out and we went out, it was just
the thing is,
level.
Deadpool, the comic, has always been batshit crazy. I mean, at one point he marries like a vampire, like it gets out of control, but it's always managed to find its center and have its heart. And that movie was just that crazy, the torture scenes and all that kind of stuff there. But it always had its heart. We mentioned Deadpool and Vanessa in the Valentine's Day episode.
Greatest love story ever.
One of the greatest love stories ever. They did a lot of love making, I can tell you that right there. But Deadpool, man, caught us by surprise, and he basically won Best Debut of 2016. We also had a slew of the baddest of bads in 2016. Some great villains took center stage. Zemo in Civil War, played by Daniel Bruhl, didn't throw a single punch the entire movie.
True, wow.
And to be considered the villain of that movie is crazy. Like, he was able to play chess with the Avengers, and while he seemingly didn't win, or he did say he won, right? He was like, well, didn't I? Or something like that. He's sitting, but I would do that in my jail cell anyway. You didn't get the job done, didn't I? So Zemo, and very similar to Zemo is Lex, who did this basically the same thing. He played Batman and Superman as fools and played chess, with those two characters that could basically destroy him.
And serve some tea.
Jesse Eisenberg was not my favorite Lex Luthor, but he was definitely a villain. How do you feel about Zemo and Lex as far as like comparing them and contrasting them?
It's hard because the tone for each movie, I guess, was at least the same. At least the same, but I guess Batman versus Superman was a little darker.
Yeah.
So he created Doomsday and turned Batman and Superman against each other until they saved each other.
Yeah, there was no creation of Doomsday.
They saved his mommy.
There was no creation of Doomsday in Civil War, so Lex definitely taking some bigger chances than Zemo was. Literally creating a monster from Kryptonian blood and like skin cells or something like that. Mm-hmm. That Kryptonian birth chamber thing is very weird, especially as it leads into Justice League. Like, I guess you could do anything in that shit. We just put dead bodies and other ingredients.
Leave the aliens alone, man.
It's like a cake. You put dead bodies and other ingredients in, and you come back and it's a cake. But you had that. Mariah Dillard from Luke Cage, Alfre Woodard, coming back. She was also in Civil War, but oddly not playing the same person. I thought it would have been cool if she was playing the same person.
Right.
But she basically is the antagonist in Luke Cage. I thought that Cottonmouth did a great job, but if he couldn't be on this list, because for reasons that I can't mention if you haven't seen the show yet, Mariah Dillard did a lot. When I think of her and the best villain,
she got down. She was real funky.
Yeah, when I think of her and the best villain, I think of the scene in which she is being questioned at the end of the series by the police, and she basically finds out she's let go, and it's
walks,
she just walks out.
Yeah, I was shaking my head at the end. I was
like, "What you gonna do?
Dude,
I killed all the witnesses, and there's nothing you can do about it." And she makes the cop put her mink coat on her. And then she walks out. And Misty Knight just is like, what just happened? I just saw the system fail. I just saw my job that I have fail. The system has failed. And you don't get that without Mariah. I thought she did a crazy good job there. And right alongside her, I would put Viola Davis as Amanda Waller in Suicide Squad. When she goes in there and caps
everybody. Jesus,
all the witnesses.
man.
They don't like witnesses. These villains are not fans of witnesses, I guess. But goes ahead and caps everybody. Boom, boom, boom. And for all the baddies that are in Suicide Squad, right? Like all the rough and tough and good fighters and great shots, they're all on a leash. They're all on Amanda Waller's leash. She's the one leading them around, and they can't go do anything unless she says so. To the point that when the movie ends and she shows back up, everybody including the characters in the movie, are like, "Oh my god! Like, are you still alive? How the heck?" And I thought that was amazing. We have Vandal Savage. I miss Vandal Savage, man. From Legends of Tomorrow, playing an immortal. I liked his long coat with the knives in it. And he just spoke like he had lived a million years. I thought he was so good, Casper Crump, in that role on Legends of Tomorrow. I don't think they've gotten a villain that good since. I mean, maybe you could argue the Legion of Doom or Eobard Thawne outright, but
I mean, he could definitely replace somebody.
Yeah. But Vandal Savage is what led Legends of Tomorrow to where it's at. It's the first villain of the series, and I thought they did a great job. But what won? Teddy Sears is Zoom. Teddy Sears played Jay Garrick, but ends up playing Zoom, and the voice is Candyman. The guy who played Candyman ends up being the voice for Zoom, and you get all that. The Flash. What was your line that you liked for his about fishing? Was it fishing?
Was it fishing?
When he had him on the roof?
I can't remember it, man. Damn.
Yeah, he said he had a bunch of great lines about like.
There's a bunch of them I can remember, but why can't I remember that one?
I mean, you have Barry like run around Star Labs and throw a lightning bolt at him, and this guy does like a cartwheel, grabs the lightning bolt and throws it back at him, like, back at Barry. He was scary, man, and they had that like music for him, like Jaws. And he would just appear. He was the first one to literally drag Barry around and be like,
whole city and
"Look at your hero! Look at him!"
And he took his powers.
Yes, yeah. V9, man. That V9. Yo, stay away from drugs. Get off of drugs. I just gotta say that right now. Get off from drugs. Hunter Zolomon as Zoom. Teddy Sears as Hunter Zolomon. Won Best Villain for 2016.
You like to fish with bait.
Oh, that's what it was. So do I, right?
Yeah.
So do I. I do too. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Best TV show and best movie. So let's get to best TV show. We had Legends of Tomorrow was debuted. Supergirl debuted. Luke Cage debuted. All completely different shows. Supergirl debuted on CBS. So it was distinctively different than, or was it NBC? It was one of those two.
Before it came to CW, right? Yeah.
And it was definitely different than the other shows because it was on a different network. It was kind of the orphan that only kind of got. They brought Flash in for a couple of episodes, one episode I want to say, and they brought Supergirl in for the crossover, but she was very much left alone on that side there. Luke Cage and Daredevil showed up on Netflix. Luke Cage had his freshman year in Netflix, and Daredevil came for season 2. Daredevil season 2 deals with the Hand, Elektra, and Punisher. I thought that was good. I'm barely disappointed with Daredevil. My only thing is they seem to lose a lot of gas at the end of it all the time. Like
I think so.
Yeah, I feel like episodes 1 through 3 are usually either jam packed or a lot of setup. Then they have a bunch of like jaw dropping episodes, and then by the end they always have one episode right before the end. It's mad confusing. Like, how did we get here? And then the last episode they're just trying to tie up the confusing parts, and I always feel that way. And same thing with Luke Cage. Like, I thought Cottonmouth was amazing, but Diamondback I wasn't that much of a fan of, and I felt like if they would have kept Cottonmouth throughout, maybe you would have kept that momentum. And when Luke is hurt and he's in that barn, you might as well just stop the show. It slows down to a pace that's like, what am I watching here? Why is the Harlem Luke Cage in like North Carolina in a barn? And you know what I'm saying? You're like, what's going on here? So those are my issues with that. Legends I thought was good. Just wasn't my cup of tea at the time. And then Arrow season 4 was dealing with Damon Dark. But what eventually took, the show, what took the award for TV show of 2016 was Flash season 2, which is, like I said, was dealing with Zoom. Flash season 1 was like a season of a show I've never seen before. Like, I cannot
Yeah, I got
I
I got
cannot
hooked.
state how
Yeah,
much
I got
that
hooked in
show
season
has
one.
changed what
It
my
hasn't happened to me to get hooked
mentality of
on
superhero
a show
shows
for a minute.
is. They did such a good job building Barry in that he was a good guy. He's a genuinely good guy. Like, now I don't like the excuse of, well, that guy's too good and he
Yeah,
won't be
it's like,
interesting. No.
nah, you watch Barry Allen.
Look at Barry Allen. Exactly. Look at
Watch
CW. Look at
Barry Allen.
Barry Allen.
The
You
spirit.
never call him a punk or a weak or any of that kind of stuff. He's just genuinely a good guy that believes in good people. And he makes that look cool, which is, I think, something that isn't the easiest in the world to do. So Flash won for season 2 in 2016. And then as far as movies go, we had Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. So cool on the outside, right? Like, I thought the promotional material was amazing. When you start looking at I started a joke. Remember that?
Right.
We
Yeah.
started the whole. Oh, that was deep. Oh, that Bohemian
Yeah.
Rhapsody. Those trailers were amazing. And then when you started getting closer, and you had like those Instagram trailers that were like just a bunch of cartoon explosions and bams and pows, and you have all the artwork behind them, the poster work that became more colorful and more comic book like. I thought all the promotional material was amazing. The movie was okay. It wasn't one of my
There's nice
favorites.
things about the movie, but
Yeah, there were some nice things. It was funny, and I commend them for taking a chance with something that's not Batman or Superman. I guess if I can give the film a compliment, thank you for taking some time to flesh out some characters that people don't really know about. You know,
they sprinkled Batman.
just like they sprinkled the Joker, which I don't think was necessary. But I guess if you're gonna have Harley Quinn, you're gonna have the Joker, which makes me wonder what they're gonna do with Spider-Man and Venom. But we'll have to wait for that too. We had X-Men Apocalypse, our debut of Apocalypse, and you can see that Apocalypse did not make the best of villain list. So you know how we felt about that. We also get the Phoenix in that, Phoenix Force.
Jean unleashes her power.
Unleash your power, Jean. And then you have Apocalypse learning. When he's putting his hand on the television, he's like, I want to learn. And I will turn this world I will burn this world to destroy this world, and on its ashes I will build a better one. I've been saying that since the movie came out because I feel like that's the only thing he said throughout the movie was how much he was going to destroy the earth, and then on top of it he was going to build a brand new one. Oh, what are you going to do? I'm going to destroy the earth, and on top of it build a brand new one.
Give Xavier a haircut.
And give Xavier a better one. That's basically what it was with that. So X-Men Apocalypse was okay. The thing I liked the most about it was to me it was very close to the animated series, and I liked the fact that everyone was young, and learning their powers. As far as
true.
When we see X-Men 1, everyone's 30. Everyone's old and knows their powers. It's like, what do I call you, Wheels? It's a completely different dichotomy than when we get with X-Men Apocalypse, and I think X-Men Apocalypse was also one of the first honest to God tries of rebooting the universe. This is our first time with a brand new Scott, a brand new Jean Grey. They should have given us a brand new Logan, knowing that Logan was coming out, but guess you can't get everything you want. We got Batman versus Superman, which at the time was a controversial to say the least. A lot of people had their hopes up for that film and did not get seemingly what they wanted. But ultimately, we got the ultimate cut, and that was way better.
Yeah, that was.
It ends up being a 3-hour movie at that point. But it's the beginning of people doubting Zack Snyder's ability to make these movies. That leads into Justice League eventually when we get into the awards for this year. But yeah, we had Batman v Superman. Some great moments, but overall, I think it was a failure to understand those characters. Wonder Woman obviously being the standout of that, right? She shows up and she is wonderful.
And she had this is true. And she had her movie coming out the year after, so
yeah, very much like Black Panther, set up for Wonder Woman. Get just enough information to then go forward. I would even argue that she had less information given about her. We don't know about Themyscira. Like she hints at, like I'm done of the world of man. Like you hear things like that, but you don't really get, the gravitas of what Themyscira is. And I guess you don't really get Wakanda too. So maybe those two are the best comparisons. How Black Panther and Wonder Woman both entered their films, and the next year had their films, and those films were touted as amazing, great films. Woo! But Batman vs Superman was dealing with some of the most famous comic book characters ever known. And then Marvel goes ahead and gives us Doctor Strange, which is a movie about somebody that most people didn't know. You might have seen him a couple times, but nobody was quoting Eye of Agamotto. No one was saying Ancient One, Kamatage, I think I want to say. All that. The special effects in that thing, man.
Oh, man.
I remember watching it when she does that whole, like, open your third eye thing and sends him back.
Just sends him.
It's crazy. And then, like I said, Dormammu, I'm Here to Bargain, one of the best ending scenes of a superhero film because you actually get to see the superhero outmaneuver, outsmart, outpunk the villain. And this is the guardian or the leader of the dark dimension. Like, this is the head honcho. I want to think that Dormammu's not done with Doctor Strange, and that he remembers this,
I want to say this,
and that he will be back for Doctor Strange too. Even stranger, that's what they'll call that. Deadpool, great movie of 2016. I think it could have won movie of the year, given how anyone felt about it that day. Like, given what people ate for breakfast that day, it could have changed what movie of the year was. I think Deadpool was amazing. It raked in so much money. It's like by guys and girls alike, which is also kind of hard, right? Everyone there is given a special role. The characters are fleshed out. Even Colossus is some people's fan favorite. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Captain Deadpool. Those jokes. You're like an avocado. All that kind of stuff is amazing. Deadpool definitely.
Dopinder. Sure, you love
Dopinder. Don't forget about Dopinder. He did amazing. But what ultimately wins is Civil War. My pick for comic book movie of all time. Civil War. You could not argue that. And I mean, you want to gush about Civil War for a little bit?
Yes, always.
So Civil War, the first time we see this many Marvel characters on the screen together, all suited up, ready to do battle. Some great music, some great character moments. Of figuring out like what would happen if something like this happened. What sides would people fall on? And everything felt human. It didn't. None of it felt like, oh well, yeah, they obviously, and what like. People like Natasha not fully knowing where she wanted to stand was cool. Vision that was making cool. A mistake, a machine making a mistake because he didn't have judgment. That makes sense. Wanda and him being split up because of that. Hawkeye coming out of retirement to go save everybody. All that stuff was amazing. Not to mention the airport battle. Not to mention the battle at the end and the revelation of what Bucky did. All that stuff was amazing. Civil War, hands down, movie of the year in 2016. Shit. Oh. And beep, and come on, you can't beat that. Civil War. I'm getting speechless just talking about it. But I think the final award that we did in 2016 was most anticipated movie. And what's cool about that is it's all the movies that came out last year, the movies that are up for grabs theoretically for movie of the year, which is Wonder Woman, which came out. Well, these are movies that we had no idea how they would be. Wonder Woman. Thor Ragnarok, Guardians 2, Logan, Spider-Man Homecoming. And eventually what won was Justice League. Justice League was the most anticipated movie of 2017. How do you feel about that movie now that you've seen it? Should we have been anticipating another film?
No. It would have been the best comic book movie of the year if it was the only comic book movie that came out that year.
Well, that's good to know.
Good. It's good to me.
But it also goes to show why we're so harsh on it because it had that much pressure. Because the fans, you guys, the clique, voted for it to be the movie you're most anticipating. So I
think I voted for that too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So when it doesn't do as well as it's supposed to, this is the first time these guys will be together on screen for 75 years, 80 years. When it doesn't do as good as it's supposed to. People aren't that happy, and I can't blame them. But let's toss all that to the side. That was 2017. Let's talk about 2016. That's 2016. Let's talk about 2017 in 2018. Let's talk about last year. The shows, the moments, the villains, the debuts. Let's talk about the nominees that we gave out last year and what the clique, you guys, voted for coolest moment, best fight, movie. What do you want to start with?
Let's see. I want to start with best fight.
Best fight of 2017. Now, I changed this. Last year was best final showdown. But I didn't want to go for the last fight with all of these. Some of these I wanted to go because there were some great fights throughout some of these movies and television shows. For the nominees, we have Peter versus Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where he said he was going to turn into a Pac-Man, and the man turned into a Pac-Man and attacked his father. You know, you have that cool moment where the chain starts to play, and he's like, "You shouldn't have broke my Walkman." Yeah, you know. How do you feel about Peter versus Ego, father and son doing battle on Ego's planet?
I mean, it all started because he told him he put the tumor in his mom's head. So he started blasting him right. I actually, you know, it's crazy. I was on a spree, so I actually saw that too not too long ago.
Oh, you saw Guardians as well? Yeah.
The camera zoomed out. He was just looked.
Yeah, and you saw his eyes. Yeah, and his eyes, didn't his eyes come back?
Yeah, come back.
To normal? Like, yeah. What? He snapped out of it.
Hit him with his cannons, and then that was it. That's how it started. And then he was like, "Who the hell do you think you are?"
Yeah, he starts to take the Hasselhoff. Yeah, but it ends up being pretty scary by the end of that. Like he just his face is devoid of color. He's kind of gray. His hair's all crazy. Ego is, and they just go at it. You had the Revengers versus Hela. Revengers being Valkyrie, Hulk, and Thor, and Loki. I forgot Loki was on the Revengers with the Revengers.
Savior is here.
They showed up and they got to attack Hela's army, her big old dog, and Hela herself. I thought that was pretty cool. And then you had the ding digga ding ding digga ding digga ding immigrant song in the background. You had it in that fight, which was nominated, and then the next nominee, Thor versus Sorter, which I think is a better fight, in my opinion.
Mine too.
Because
Hammer too.
He was so cocky, and he had me on there. So he's cocky. He's telling jokes.
And again, I also saw that the other day too.
You saw Thor the other day. You went on a Marvel binge, huh?
Boo, boo, boo. The hammer.
Oh, when he's hitting everybody in the head, amazing. And when he's being the fire's getting thrown at him, and he's using
the hammer
as a fan to
just flies through it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And he's able to strap that helmet onto his back and just do battle. Hemdall, whenever you're ready. Hemdall, please.
Battle.
So good. Then we're gonna go to for the next nominee. We're gonna go to the television nominees and go with the Arrowverse versus the Earth X Nazis. We got to see all our boys and girls in bright daylight. You know, line up the legends. Arrow, Supergirl, Flash.
At the wedding,
Kid Flash, all that kind of stuff. That was amazing to see all those guys do that, and it's one of those things that you knew it was gonna happen. Like everyone was gonna suit up and get together, but you get to see how much of these characters that you've gotten to fall in love with. You know, even when Heatwave is out there making jokes, you're like, "That's my boy Rory." Like I know that guy. You know, I've known him for years. We knew him from Flash. We know him from Legends. Seeing some of those interesting team ups. What I thought was pretty cool. Seeing Cisco be able to teleport Ollie through a breach so he could shoot an arrow, I thought was amazing. They keep killing it on CW. Last year, coolest moment was nominated for coolest moment was the crossover. So you knew that the crossover this year was going to be nominated for something because they can't go wrong with that.
And nobody likes Nazis either. So
we also had Logan's Last Stand, which was Logan going through, and at the end of that film, when he's all on the juice, he's on the juice. You know, you're not supposed to take it all. And he took all the juice in Logan, and he goes through and is able to save Laura and the rest of the kids until his wounds prove fatal. And we see Logan for the very last time. But seeing him go through and berserker rage and yell, you know, there's that scene on YouTube of him doing the voiceover for it.
Oh yeah,
this man, you know, if this is his final portrayal as Logan, he did an amazing job. This was the Logan we've always wanted, the Wolverine, the cutthroat, animalistic, savage, the berserker Wolverine with The Last Stand. And what a way to go out if that was the way he wanted to go out. And then you have Superman versus the Justice League. The Justice League, unearths Superman's body. I don't know why. And then they resurrect him.
Worst friends ever.
They resurrect him, and in true Pet Cemetery fashion, Superman comes back with none of his memories and chooses to fight the Justice League because Cyborg shoots him by mistake, I guess. That was pretty cool when you got to see how fast Superman was in comparison to Flash.
Yeah, he looks at Flash. I still say Flash is faster.
He was able to have a moment with Batman where he's like, "Didn't you try to kill me? Do you bleed?"
Yeah.
You have him and Kal-El, Remember Who You Are with Wonder Woman.
Remember who you are.
Kal-El, last son of Krypton. Diana, you need to calm down just saying people's governments like that. Willy-nilly. All right? People...
Diana Themyscira.
No, she was gonna do that. Remember, she was gonna do that in her movie. She was gonna say, "I'm Diana Themyscira." Someone had to go Diana Prince.
I think that's what.
Cut her off. Yep. She has no filter. Is what it is. Superman versus the Justice League. But the winner for best fight of 2017 is Logan's Last Stand.
Rightfully so.
Logan's Last Stand with a this was a windfall. This was a landslide.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
A landslide. Logan's Last Stand. Best fight for 2017. Probably the most gory. Probably the most action packed out of everything here. It was just Logan just was amazing last year, and its ability to put we've seen a lot of good Wolverine footage. You know, I thought his Berserker Rage in X-Men 2 in the mansion was also pretty good when he's getting everybody in the chest.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of that, but this was that a million times over, and
yeah, the double team in there too.
You guys knew what the score was though, and picked Logan's Last Stand, and I can't argue with you. That was definitely the best fight of 2017. I guess if you pick that category, I'm gonna go to best debut of 2017. Ooh. Lots of debuts. Starting off with Laura, X-23. One of the surprises of the year to me, to be honest.
I think so. She held it down surprisingly a lot.
I didn't expect much of her because I didn't think she had to do much, right? She was just going to be the daughter. You don't have to do much, but she did so much with just looks and glares.
Yeah.
And, you know, she made us laugh. She made us cry. When at the end when she's doing the daddy stuff.
Took people's heads off.
Just that stare, man. That stare's daggers. That girl.
And she punched Wolverine in the face. Square in the face.
Daphne Keene. I hope she is able to parlay this into an actual role. I would like to see her actually be X-23.
I would like for them to actually give her the suit.
Oh yeah, give her the yellow. I mean, and she does. You know, X-23 Laura in the comics does wear a suit very similar to Wolverine's suit, and that'll be the only way I think at this point that we're gonna get that costume unless they recast Laura. As far as debuts go, we also had the Justice League debuting in all its non-Hal Jordan fashion.
Wow.
I had to say that, bro. Unite the Seven. Unite the Seven? Oh, nah.
I mean, they should. They should have. Oh man.
Go ahead. No, make the excuse for it. Go ahead. Sit here on this podcast and make the excuse as to why we couldn't have Hal Jordan.
You know what?
Movie.
I can't.
Exactly.
I can't.
Exactly. But regardless of how you felt about the film, this was the first time in movie history
they have
ever been together. This is the first time in movie history you ever seen the Batman standing next to the Flash, standing next to Superman, standing next to Wonder Woman, standing next to Cyborg, standing next to Aquaman.
Who's not standing next to Hal Jordan?
Who's not standing next to Hal Jordan. Come on, guys. But they were there. They were there. And I thought that the suits looked awesome. So I guess just for the picture, great debut for the Justice League. Hopefully they do some kind of Flashpoint in this and we get a better Justice League film in the future that will give us a better lineup. And Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart or Kyle Rayner. I don't know if I want Guy Gardner. We'll talk about that in a later time. You had Legion, who debuted. You know, that was a X-Men property that they decided to do their own show on Fox. The split personality mutant with a different power per split personality, the son of Charles Xavier. This show is kind of out of control. It's very hard to follow because you're basically dealing with somebody who's criminally insane or clinically insane. I don't know if he's criminally insane. Definitely clinically insane. And I think that drives a lot of the plot. There's a lot of times where you'll be watching something and you're like, it's like, oh, that's not what is actually happening. And so to have the debut of that character, they had to do a lot of homework for it, and I think they did a good amount. Legion on Fox. The first time we got the Defenders all together. So just like the Justice League, we have been waiting for this. All their shows up to this point. And I'll go ahead and say, in case you were wondering, Iron Fist is not nominated for anything on these awards.
Danny Rand.
Nothing. Danny Rand, leader of the Hand. Danny Hand, leader of the Rand, or whatever the.
Danny Rand, leader of these hands.
He only had one hand, and he never had it when he needed it. So, the Defenders. How do you feel about Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Iron Fist getting together for the first time? I thought they could use better suits.
But I spent majority. This is true, but I spent majority of the whole entire thing defending Iron Fist.
You were defending Iron Fist
and Daniel Rand.
So Defenders ends up being about, I think, an 8-episode season, and it's smaller. It's smaller than Luke Cage and all those shows initially because I think they all go 13. So I thought it was better being shorter. I thought that was a good decision.
You think so? I mean, they were right there. They could have gave us 10.
Nah. That's when you say that. That's the episode where Kilgrave gets away, even though they have him dead to rights, chained up and locked up and ready deal with him. That's the episode he goes away, and you get a whole episode of flashback, and that probably would have been a Daniel flashback. So I don't need any more defenders. But we had been waiting for this moment. Heroes for Hire getting together, Jessica seeing Daredevil and being his lawyer. My problem with the defenders, as far as winning best debut, the reason why I wouldn't nominate them, even though I put them in the nominees, is because I feel like the CW crossover blew that away. I feel like when they came through and fought the Nazi versions of them, even though that's the most comic book storyline ever, we're gonna fight the evil Nazi versions of you. It was just good. It was just better, more heartfelt. The moment where Barry's helping, Ali's helping Barry with his tuxedo, and Barry's like telling Ali, I mean,
I think
guys deserve.
I think it's because we do spend more time with those characters, though. So.
But I feel like we do spend more time with those characters, but you could argue that on Flash, Cisco is as fleshed out as Flash, and so is Caitlin, so is Wells, and every show has a million people, so it would have been hard to be as invested. Where we get our core characters, the 4 defenders, in almost every scene, and still can't be bothered to be excited. My favorite scene in the Defenders is when they're beating up Danny Rand. When they're like, you need to stay here. You need to stay here because they're going to use you as a weapon. And he's like, no, they're not. And guess what they end up doing? They use him as a damn weapon. And he opens the door. I'm getting upset just talking about it. Let's go to The Runaways. The Runaways coming up on Hulu. I know you weren't able to see it, but I saw The Runaways, and I also read their comics. It's about a group of children who find out that their parents are evil villains.
I heard it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Very relatable. It's just kids finding out they got powers, and how much can kids do when they find out they have powers, and no money, no bank account, no cars, and stuff like that. They were able to have some of the cool special effects that deal with that show. That show deals with a velociraptor, so they were able to do that. I mean, that deserves credit on its own, right? The Runaways debuting on Hulu last year. I think the last episodes ended in this year, actually. But I think they're already greenlit for season 2, and they did a good job, so they got to be here for the debut. And last but not least, the Amazons of the Mascara. Amazon the Mascara debuted twice this year, showing up in Justice League and in Wonder Woman. Oh. I don't know why they would show up in Batman vs Superman.
I don't know why I felt. You know what that? It's Diana's fault.
Yeah. You said that the Amazons of Themyscira was your favorite part of Justice League. Watching those guys move that mother box across the board.
The mother box across trying to get it away from Steppenwolf. Oh man. And seeing them get busy is just it's crazy every time.
Yeah, it was cool to see them train. These girls are better built than I am. I'm seeing muscles and abs I could not even wish to have. They're doing these flips and cartwheels and all those cool like backflip arrow shots that they were doing. I thought were amazing. I'm gonna be on my horse and just lean back and slash you and then come back up. Those girls really tried. And when I watched some of the special features from Wonder Woman, and these are like Olympically trained women. Some of these women are martial artists. Some of these women are stunt women, are bodybuilders. So they really got the cream of the crop for this movie, and it showed. The Amazons really, kicked butt.
Busy.
They really kicked butt, and I thought that was amazing. But the winner of Best Debut for 2017 is X-23 from Logan.
Very nice.
Congratulations, Laura. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Do you think the clique picked well?
Hell yeah. That just shows. Put her in the suit. Put her in the suit.
Yeah, Laura. I mean, like I said, I think she blew people away. That child has so much gravitas for her age, and we're used to Logan. We've seen Logan, and we're used to Xavier, which those are the people we deal with for the majority of the film. For her to be able to sit there with them and be as valuable of a player, you can't say anything else. So obviously, X-23 couldn't be here to accept her award, but we're gonna go ahead and send it to her anyway. Even if we gave her a speech, we don't think she'd say much. So that's the issue with that. How do you feel about going to coolest moment of 2017?
Ooh, take me to it.
All right, so for coolest moment of 2017, this will allow you to see how good 2017 was, some of the cool moments we got to see in 2017. I'm going to start off with a comic moment, the introduction to the Dark Knights of the Multiverse. This is the Batman Who Laughs. This is the Dawnbreaker, the Destroyer, the Merciless. These are the Justice League versions of Batman that appeared in the Dark Knight Metal crossover event that seemed to take people by storm, giving us all these crazy and cool versions of Batman. Did you see the Red Death? Batman, which is the Batman and the Flash.
Yeah,
Some of these character designs are haunting, but pretty cool looking. And to see Batman imagined as these different villains, whether they be a Green Lantern version of a villain or a Joker version of a villain, I thought that was pretty cool. And I like Zack Snyder's work and Greg Capullo's work from their Batman run, so I thought that this had to be here as the coolest moment because we've never seen Batman in emotion like this. You had Spidey taking his suit on for a test run, which is when he accidentally puts it on kill mode. He finds out that he that it has all the different web combinations.
And that's when he goes after the guys and he gets
in the truck. Yeah, he gets trapped in the truck, and he sits and talks to the AI system for a good amount of time.
I think her name's Karen.
Yes, Karen.
He named her Karen.
So cool. Part of what makes Spider-Man and his movies and television shows cool is his anticipation, like how hype he is for the role that he's playing as a hero. And we got to see that with him taking his suit on a test run. How'd you feel about all the different web combinations, him trying them out, the kill mode, whatever the heck that the hell's supposed to be?
The electric webbing.
I guess, how do you feel about the fact that the suit is automated in general?
To him, and he's got the baby protocol in it that everybody.
The training wheels, right?
Training wheels protocol. Yeah, everybody keeps forgetting about that. Like Joe, he basically Ned jailbroke his suit. So
yeah, him and Ned ended up jailbreaking his suit. I think it's one of the standout moments of the film, besides I would say the ferry scene, the Staten Island ferry scene,
when he's holding it together.
Yeah, but this is the only one where he's by himself with no Iron Man. Is with him taking it on test run, and I thought that really showed the kind of Spider-Man that we had. You have Diana infiltrates No Man's Land. Man, what a scene, right? No man has ever. Well, I am not a man.
No man.
Well, I am no man. Diana, no. And she just tosses her little mink. And this is also the moment where we see her suit for the first time. She's been hiding it over in some kind of like mink coat. She reveals her entire suit and walks through No Man's Land, deflecting bullets with her gauntlets and with her shield. It's the moment you've seen in the trailer. What a great moment in that film, right?
Yeah, and they tease that moment in the trailer a lot too.
Yeah, and it still stood. Like you would think, I saw this.
Hell yeah. But I'm glad it wasn't one of those. I seen this, so I don't care. Nah.
They really showed her to be.
Here we go, and then it was really here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, and ahead, Diana. It made it very obvious that without her help, they couldn't get across that. Wonder Woman saving the day yet again. I thought that was amazing. And
I like the fact the dudes are also giving her cover fire too. So
she was basically flanking for them. Getting all the attention and the aggro and waiting for them to get across, and she did her job there. And then we got Yondu's massacre. So good, so big, and so strong.
Slow motion too.
And I'm all alone, and the night is so young. Come a little closer. So good. Yondu, one of the standout people in that film, man. You may be your father, ain't your daddy. All that there. The Mary Poppins, y'all, but this here, the massacre goes down as the coolest moment to me because I'm digging it. I'm liking it. When the lights are off and you can only see the red of the arrow, I thought that was crazy.
And he's got a new fin.
But the biggest thing is that probably the most kills on this list. Probably the most murders. He takes out the entire ship. The entire ship by himself. I guess not by himself because he has the horn. And the kind of cool stroll he does with Baby Groot and Rocket down the hallway. And then him and Rocket end up tag teaming to take out all the rest of the Ravagers on that ship. Yondu's Massacre definitely nominated as one of the coolest moments of 2017. The final nominee, Thor v. Hulk, Contest of Champions. He's a friend from work, all that. How do you feel about that in Ragnarok when you see Thor and Hulk going at it?
Honestly, one of my favorite parts about that one was besides when Thor starts to get all
Odin forced,
lightning-y and Odin forced, was when Hulk grabs him and he ragdolls him the same way he did Loki.
Yeah, and then Loki stands up and goes, he pops that's how that feels. That was so good. Yeah. That was so good. I liked right before he went into there when he's doing the tour and they play the Willy Wonka song, the place of pure imagination. And you have the Grandmaster basically giving the tour, and he's like, and if you lose, you will die. Like, basically all that stuff. And Thor basically takes out Hulk. And then Grandmaster cheats. Yeah. Hulk is able to win. And my other favorite moment is when Hulk jumps up into the sky, and everyone has seen this.
Oh,
Apparently,
man.
everyone has seen this happen to many of a challenger to the Hulk, the Grandmaster's champion. And as soon as he jumps up in the air, everyone basically is ready to start their car. This is the ninth inning. They just hit a home run. Hulk is about to take out Thor, and this is what he's done, I guess, in every other contest. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then you see him come down with that punch, and it ends the fight. Thor versus Hulk, contest of champions. Yeah, those were the coolest moments of 2017. The winner of coolest moment of 2017 being Diana infiltrating No Man's Land.
Yeah, that makes me happy too.
So look at that. Logan's Last Stand winning for best fight, best debut being Laura, coolest moment being Diana infiltrates No Man's Land, and with those last two, we get some girls on the board. It's a good year for girls going out there and showing it out.
Go ahead,
Diana. I mean, the best DC movie probably in their combined universe. So good work, Diana. We'll go over to best villain. And I'll start off by saying that Prometheus definitely needs to be nominated and is nominated. Prometheus is the Arrow Season 5 villain, somebody who Arrow knows closely and seems to know Arrow way too much and is always one step ahead of him. Some of his plans and plots are some of the most evil things I've ever seen.
I hear good bad things about this man.
Well, the last part, one of the last scenes you see of him is him putting a gun to a young Oliver Queen's son's head. And Oliver Queen's son's about 5. So any villain that could do that, just to prove a point, I think deserves to be nominated. Arrow usually goes against a lot of mustache twirling villains, with the Malcolm Merlins, these big dramatic guys. This guy was just somebody who really just wanted to make Ali suffer, and I think it showed. So I'm nominating Prometheus as one of the best villains out there. It was one of the options you guys had to choose from as best villain. Another option was Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. What a complex villain. I mean, this guy was ultimately fighting for blue-collared workers, right? Like he hired a bunch of people to help fix New York. He wanted to help fix New York, was able to hire a bunch of people, and was going to give them money. Like, he didn't start off as such a bad guy. And ultimately, is fighting against big business, like fighting against Tony Stark, the people who can just come and take the contracts from the little man. But you got to see how cutthroat he was. In some of the scenes where you can only see the greens of his eyes, he was terrifying. Where he's like throwing Spider-Man off when he first sees Spider-Man, right? He grabs him and just flies him hundreds of feet in the air and just drops him. Just like, this is what I can do. Don't ever get in my way again. Very.
Not to mention when they're in the car dropping them off.
Terrifying. And this is with him without the suit. When you first see him, before they even get into the car, when the door opens and he opens the door, my heart drops. It's like, look at Michael Keaton there, being absolutely terrifying. Michael Keaton did a great job as the Vulture, and sometimes a better job out of the suit than he did in it. So Vulture definitely nominated for best villain. Hela,
Goddess of Death.
The Goddess of Death. Easy on the eyes, or maybe not that easy on one of your eyes if you get in her way, but came through. She had her share of jokes, but I thought that her way of putting on her helmet was pretty cool. Like when she would like slick her hair back and this helmet would end up coming out, and she murdered just as many people as Yondu. They show her fighting the Valkyries, and when she's throwing those knives and just stabbing people out of the sky, basically is able to take control of Asgard.
Like what? Her.
Oh yeah, but think about it. Like, she came through and just took this floating paradise by storm. She was able to crush Mjolnir in her hands. I mean, that gets her a nomination. If only purely on that. Hela as best villain of, I guess Grandmaster was also a villain too. But Hela nominated as best villain of Thor Ragnarok. From there, we'll go to the Legion of Doom in CW. The Legion of Doom being Damien Dark, Malcolm Merlin, and Eobard Thawne. Some of the best villains the CW has to offer, all on one team to take on the Legends of Tomorrow. They were actually called the Legion of Doom, which is cool, right? Cool little nod back to the comics. I know Eobard Thawne is one of your favorite villains, so to see him team up with two others was pretty cool, even though that was a short-lived team-up. Their trinity was good, or I guess bad enough to be nominated for best villain as a unit. I thought that they deserved some kind of recognition for that. So that's why the Legion of Doom is there. And then we spoke about Ego, Peter's dad, who obviously came in with some nefarious reasoning in the beginning, and ultimately got found out to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell, I think, did a great job. I think he was.
Find out he killed Peter's mom.
I thought he was real charming when he was good. When he was a good guy, I thought he was real cool, smart, funny.
He's that guy.
Yeah. And then as the movie continues, you get to see how, I guess you could say, cold and calculating he is. Ultimately, with this big plan of just spreading his own seed everywhere so he can control
shady
everything.
Ego, you shady.
Super shady. Daddy issues. Hashtag daddy issues. Excuse me there. Then we have Ares, the god of war, and the son of Zeus. Basically is the person that is blamed for everything that's going on in Wonder Woman. He is the one that's putting everyone at war in World War One, the war that people don't speak of that much. I think World War II gets way too much credit. World War One was way more devastating because we were just kind of figuring that out. We didn't have all these automated weapons and stuff like that. You saw that people were just living in trenches, and we got to see the depths of that. But we get to find Ares in this movie, and we get to see him in the comic book kind of fashion at the end, where he gets to put on his armor and go battle with Wonder Woman. How do you feel about Ares in Wonder Woman?
I didn't think I wasn't expecting for him to get the showdown. He was gonna.
Didn't like the mustache.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the mustache. Yeah. Something about like Greek gods and facial hair. Like it's got to be a beard or nothing. Like you don't get a mustache. I don't expect any god to have like a goatee or anything, right? You do it all or nothing. But yeah, I didn't expect to see full Ares. I thought they were gonna like hint at it, but we do get full Ares.
Like half it a little bit. But it was cool because you see a ticket to she didn't he throw a freaking tank at her?
Oh yeah, man. She's flying in the air. And he threw her around. You know, he basically thought he had her pegged until she was able to pull it out at the final moment. But yeah, Ego definitely nominated as Best Villain. But the winner of the Best Villain Award for 2017, brought to you by you guys at Comic Book Clique, is Prometheus. Prometheus winning Best Villain. So you're gonna have to see this now.
I gotta get in there, man.
You gotta see this now.
Get in there now. Wow.
Prometheus wins Best Villain of 2017.
You guys.
The season-long villain for Arrow season 5.
I hear you.
I don't think the guys were wrong. That was my pick for Best Villain of 2017. I think they did some good work with that. But the fact that we have 2 villains from television kind of makes me think that they didn't do a great job with villains in movies all that much. I mean, I didn't really like Steppenwolf all that much. And then I guess the villain in Logan. Who would you consider the villain in Logan? X-24? Would you consider it the Doctor? Would you consider it that Southern guy with the metal arm?
That's true.
You know, so but the movies with the weaker villains are almost better character studies because you spend more time with the character. And so I guess you got to take the good with the bad. But Prometheus taking it all with winning Best Villain of 2017. And if you guys remember the last year's awards, we're going to end this year's awards with the 2 biggest awards, Movie of the Year and TV Show of the Year. With TV Show of the Year, the nominees are Gotham for Season 3. I heard they're really ramping it up on there. Legion for Season 1. Like I said, it's debut season. The Defenders for Season 1, their debut season. Only 8 episodes. Iron Fist is not on this list.
Oh.
Supergirl Season 2, her first season on CW. More Martian Manhunter, more crossover fun. I think we actually got the duet in that season as well. Her singing with Barry. And then Season 3 of The Flash, Savitar. Also being named. Now, I would go into depth with these television shows, but I don't want to give anybody any spoilers. So I thought that was very particular about that. You understand? But I guess we should just get to the nitty gritty. I think the one we're going to end up gushing over more is Movie of the Year. So I would like to announce what the TV show of 2017 is, brought to you by the guys at Comic Book Clique. You guys voted, and the answer for TV show of 2017 is The Flash Season 3. Good work, guys. You guys like Barry Allen going against Savitar, trying to save Iris West. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What a moment. We get HR Wells.
That broke my heart.
Dr. Alchemy.
That broke my heart.
We get Magenta. We get Kid Flash. The start of Kid Flash is in Season 3. So, Flash doing its thing. That's 2 years in a row that Flash wins TV show of the year. I think this was a little bit
I
weaker.
thought Arrow was gonna win, to be honest, because that Prometheus stuff had got me going
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, that
You
was pretty
know.
good. I mean, Arrow was a close second. I think Flash takes it probably just because of Kid Flash. Um, Flash winning back to back. So if we do this next year, we're gonna do this next year.
Wow.
Hopefully it's around to try to see if it wins that. But we're gonna have a lot of brand new shows next year, so the competition is gonna be a lot more difficult. I would have liked to put things down like the Runaways and stuff, but more of us had to see it for it to be nominated. And hopefully we get into some of that stuff and we're able to do deep dives and reviews right here on Major Issues. But now it's time to go to the meat and potatoes.
Ooh, the steak.
The steak of all this. The movie of the year for 2017. And I'll go for order of release.
Okay.
So we have Logan. Logan coming out, the Western that it was. James Mangold directing. You got Hugh Jackman coming back for his final performance as Logan. Like I said, already winning debut of the year with X-23, so you know she was amazing. And this is a movie in which Wolverine is not sharing the screen with 18 other mutants.
That's true.
You know, not to say that there aren't mutants in this, but he is the centerpiece of this, and we get to see him like never before, stressed out, dragged out, dying. The man who could not take a scratch, like who couldn't be scratched basically without healing back up in seconds, is now dying, and watching that unfold. How do you feel about Logan when you saw it for the first time?
I did not expect the field trip that I was gonna go on, man.
Emotional, right?
Oh my god. Well, my thing at the end was when, obviously when they laid him down, buried him, she turned the crossover.
Watching Homeboy with the Wolverine toy got me, because I'm like, wow, we may never see it, but look at it, it's right there.
That was super.
It's right there.
Yeah.
That's it. Almost it was for us. It was for the fans. You know, it was our Wolverine, and we got more of that Wolverine, the one that we always wanted in this Logan film. So I thought that was great. I think Logan is one of the best movies of 2017 in general.
And foul mouth Charles Xavier.
Oh, Charles Xavier just cursing and doing Taco Bell commercials. The burritos are kind of Crunchwrap Supreme for a limited time only, and all that kind of stuff when he's going crazy. But I say all the time that Logan's one of the best movies of 2017, but probably not the funnest movie to watch. It gets kind of dark and depressing. You kind of got to get ready for that film, but Logan did great nonetheless. And then we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which showed up, at first I didn't like it as much as I wanted to like it, just because Volume 1 was something I've never seen before. But after giving Volume 2 some time, it is a masterpiece. The music is amazing. And filling in the blanks of Peter's backstory with the father and the mother, I thought was really good.
Yeah, we needed that.
Rocket and Yondu get some good time together. Drax is hilarious with all his stuff that he's saying with Mantis. What was your favorite part of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
I'm going to say anything Drax, because he didn't hold anything back when it came to her. So I popped every time.
And his nipples. He doesn't like to hurt his nipples.
I'm glad that we got that Peter and his dad thing out of the way too, because I was kind of starving for that personally after the first movie. And
it's kind of tropey, right? The whole we don't know who your father is. Here's your father for the first time. Like, if they didn't get it out of the way here, you would ultimately think that it's always going to be looming over their heads to just kind of do later on.
Them actually fighting was cool as hell and also bizarre.
Yeah, very bizarre.
Yondu's death actually broke my heart too.
Amazing.
That was rough. That was real rough.
And like we said in the Valentine's Day episode, completely foreshadowed by what Peter did with the sacrifice in his film, with the air breather. So Yondu, like father, like son, with that. I think another standout of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was Baby Groot. Baby Groot, cute and amazing. I think one of the best scenes is when they're all crashing and he's sitting there eating like Skittles or M&Ms or something with the bowl sitting in the seat. Baby Groot, doing good there. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, a return to form. I thought they did great. And like I said, I think it's probably the best soundtrack out of all the movies listed here. But Guardians of the Galaxy 2, just another nominee like Logan for Movie of the Year of 2017. And then we have Wonder Woman, which blew me away. Complete surprise. I hope it would be good.
Yes in that movie.
I hope it would be good, and the character itself is good, but DC was just tripping over itself a lot. And so you don't really know what to expect when it came to this. And while it isn't a perfect film, it was really, really good.
Yeah, I did go into this movie scared as hell though, but after coming out I was just like, oh.
It was so good. Just to see I mean, Gal Gadot just very, very good in this role.
Killing it, man.
Plays sweet well, plays angry well. You believe that she could beat you up, and you can also believe that a well-placed smile would make you blush. Like, you believed all the aspects that she was of Wonder Woman. In the same way, Steve Trevor wasn't the damsel in distress. He was funny. He fit where he was supposed to in the story.
Saved a couple times.
Yeah, Steve Trevor was just as much the hero as Wonder Woman, and overall the message I thought was the best part, which is only love can save this world. When you see how dark Batman v Superman was, and Lex about I need to fight God because he can't be all good and all man, it's like it's so big. Let's start small. What about your heart? What about being happy? What about being genuinely good people? And I think Wonder Woman was a step in trying to create that. So Wonder Woman also nominated. Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man coming home to the Marvel Universe. How do you think Spider-Man did in his own movie? You know, just like Black Panther and Wonder Woman, he was set up in Civil War, a movie by itself, and now he has his own. How do you feel that this ranks up there with the other Spider-Man movies?
Knocked it out the park, man. It belongs up there with all the other Spider-Man movies, and the fact that we know that we're also going to be getting more Spider-Man movies after that.
Yeah,
it's effing great.
Can you see this guy being Peter Parker Spider-Man for 10 years?
Hell yes, and he's young. Tom Holland, we love you, man. I love you.
Is there
Keep killing it, bro?
Is there anybody you want to see him interact with? I mean, you know, he's going to be in Infinity War, and you know.
I want to get through Infinity War first to see what happens. So
I believe he'll be in the next phase. I mean, hopefully he's in the next phases. You know, with Captain Marvel and all that kind of stuff. It'd be cool to see him brush shoulders with those guys. But very lighthearted, almost a Breakfast Club kind of vibe. Very high school. You know, like where the biggest stakes is that he likes a girl. Like, that's it, you know. Yeah, there's bigger stakes with the weapons, the Chitauri weapons that Vulture is trying to steal. But ultimately, it's a high school story. It's a story about being popular. It's a story about wanting to be liked and wanting to impress people. And who are we if we're not the people that we are portraying? You had that cool moment that you like where Peter sees his reflection in the water and is able to lift those big pieces of metal off of his back. Spider-Man. He was able to do it. Great entry into the Spider-Man mythos, like all the Spider-Man movies that came, and I think it's instantly better than some of the worst Spider-Man movies that are out. You know, it instantly jumps ahead with all that. Then taking place in the same month, we have Justice League, which you got our full thoughts on that in the Justice League review that we did on Major Issues. I want to say it's like episode maybe 4, can't remember, but if you look back in the Major Issues archive, we did a full deep dive into Justice League. All I'll say about it now was it was a
Mixed review.
Great effects, you know, some great scenes. Like if you took a picture, great moments. But ultimately a little bit disappointing as far as the Justice League was concerned. And then Thor Ragnarok, which was completely nothing I expected. Last from the beginning to the end. I was a little bit bothered by the fact that they made the fall of Asgard a joke, but considering that a lot of people weren't watching these movies prior or didn't really have a good feel for Thor, if this is what's going to get Thor a little bit more eyes, maybe we go this route until we get the people we want, and then we go back.
Thor needs more eyes.
He definitely needs at least one more eye. Yeah, he definitely needs at least one more eye. How'd you feel about Thor Ragnarok? How'd you feel about Korg, Hulk, all that stuff?
Hey, man.
I'm cool.
I like Thor Ragnarok. You should see it.
Hey,
it's a good movie.
Go get it.
I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
Start of the revolution.
Thor Ragnarok was good. And like I said, also getting some good music in that with Immigrant Song. It's the most comfortable I've ever seen Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Like hands down.
Bruce Banner beat.
Yeah, you got Bruce Banner in there, and those two get to have a little bit more buddy time. You don't get a lot of Bruce in these other movies. This is the first time we have him in somebody's solo. The same way Black Widow showed up in Winter Soldier, you know?
And you find out he's been Hulk for like 2 years.
Yeah, you find out a lot of things about Hulk in that film, and a lot of things about Thor, a lot of things about Odin, a lot of things about Loki, and Loki might have the Tesseract, and that might be an official one. So there's also that to be concerned with, you know? Thor, basically rounding out that year for comic book movies. Whew, are you ready? Are you ready for the final award?
Yeah, who's taking this home?
All right, you guys have voted.
Wow.
The dust has settled and the smoke has cleared.
Who's you guys?
The final award for 2017 is the movie, the feature film of the year, 2017.
Who's worthy?
With the nominees being Justice League, Logan, Wonder Woman, Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. You guys at home, the comic book clickers, and the listeners of the Major Issues podcast voted that this movie is a movie of 2017, and that movie is Logan. Logan
Wow.
getting 40% of the votes. Close to half of the votes for this was for Logan. Logan.
Can you tell me who was second? Who came in second for that?
Second for that was Spider-Man: Homecoming.
So close, Pete.
And
We'll get him next time, Peter.
I tell you the truth, as long as it wasn't Justice League, any of these could have won. Guardians was amazing. Wonder Woman,
what if
jaw-dropping.
What if it was Justice League?
If it was Justice League, I would have quit the show. Now you know that. See, everyone knows that now. Good thing that didn't happen.
Wow.
Go get your Eye of Agamotto, turn it back, make people vote for Justice League, and then see me go back. But no. You know why? Because Major Issues is one of the greatest podcasts talking about comic books and comic book media. ComicBook Clique is one of the greatest sites to talk about comic book media. And the clickers, the people who listen to this podcast and people that go on the site, are the smartest comic book fans around. And that's why they picked Logan in a landslide to be the movie of the year. If this is Hugh Jackman's last hurrah in the Adamantium, then I'm glad to know that he impressed you guys so much. He definitely impressed me, and I have absolutely no problem with Logan being the movie of 2017. How do you feel about that? How you feel about the I guess landslide of that too?
It also makes me feel good because Logan was the first movie to come out that year.
Yeah.
So
and
it gave people a lot of time to
forget it. Yes.
Yeah. You know
we call that recency bias. Mm-hmm. You know, if the last movie you saw was amazing, you might not even think the one you saw before that was all that good. But people kept Logan in the back of their minds as something they've never seen before. And we might see something very similar with Black Panther, right? Black Panther came out in February. Yeah, who knows if it's gonna last a year? But if nothing else hits, then it'll be there. But I have a feeling that something's going to hit. And we'll talk about that right now because we decided to add a little bit more salt and pepper to the end of this award show by doing our own little award of most anticipated for 2018. We didn't give the fans a chance to vote for this. We wanted to keep this in-house because we saw how disappointed you guys were when you voted for Justice League and it didn't work. So we decided to sit here for about, 5 minutes and just chop up as to the what could win next year. So here are some of the nominees, Cloudus Maximus, and tell me if any of these make your spider sense tingle. So next year we will have, obviously, Black Panther. You think that wins movie of the year? I mean, obviously, so far, it might be, right?
This is true.
Great. And if you want to know our thoughts on that, go to the last episode where we sat there and gushed on that movie for over an hour. One of our longest episodes ever. Black Panther. Venom comes out next year. Tom Hardy playing Venom for Fox, which might be owned by Marvel anyway by the end of this year. But we have that. That's coming. And supposedly Tom Holland is rumored to be in that film. So that's that. Aquaman returns with Jason Momoa in December. The only DC film of the year this year will be Aquaman. So that comes out. We have Infinity War. I'm just going to say that. We just said we have Infinity War. Deadpool 2 comes out the same month as Infinity War, with Deadpool hopefully returning to form, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp.
6 movies?
6 movies. I mean, we got a bunch of others, but I thought I'd cap it at that. I thought I'd cap it at those films there. But between these 6, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you which you think will be the most disappointing.
Wow.
And which you think will be the movie of the year.
That's like picking my least favorite child, and I can't do that.
Well, the hopes being that when we do the CBC Awards for 2018, we can look back at our choices here and laugh because we might be completely wrong the same way that we said that we anticipated Justice League and then Justice League kind of flopped.
Oh, wow.
Would you like me to go first?
I
can give you some time to think if you need to.
Damn, I want to say that. I want to say it only because I've seen. Oh well, all right. So I know.
Oh, Dark Phoenix also comes out this year too. Dark Phoenix and the Mutants, both 2 X-Men movies. You can put Phoenix up there too in your consideration if you want to.
I'm gonna say for least.
Most disappointing.
Well, yeah, for most disappointing, I'll probably say Dark Phoenix.
And the thing is also, if you see, like, let's say Logan, Wonder Woman, and Black Panther, and then you say most disappointing, that's still the greatest, in the land of greats. Yeah. So to say that Dark Phoenix will be the most disappointing, it's not to say much. It's not to say much.
But
and the best movie of 2018, you think will be?
You know what's funny about that? I want to go freaking rogue and say The Runaways.
You mean?
I mean, not Runaways. New Mutants.
Yeah.
But that's going rogue. But Infinity War.
We've been waiting. I just don't know how any movie can get close with as much history as this movie has.
I'm saying Infinity War, and I'm automatically regretting going rogue.
So I will go ahead and say that Infinity War is my choice for best movie of 2018 already.
Because I'm gonna
If
die.
it doesn't win,
I'm gonna die once the credits roll for that.
If it doesn't win, then the award's going to Wakanda.
Wow.
That's it. I don't see anything else beating Marvel this year. It's not going to happen. I see Ant-Man and Wasp being really, really good, funny, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how impressed I'll be with it.
Venom
I think is going to be bad.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Venom is going to be bad.
Like not even bad, good. Like bad.
Like if I had to like compare it to like another superhero movie,
I was gonna pick.
I'd take like
pick
Green
Venom,
Lantern 2011.
I think Venom's gonna be the dark horse out of those.
I think it's gonna be like Green Lantern 2011,
no,
where it will have its fans. It's not a terrible movie. It had its fans, and I'm a fan of it. But I don't. It's like a movie that if it never got made, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't be bothered by it. Just the fact that they put out that teaser tells me that they're not confident in what they're doing.
They didn't. They just. It's a teaser.
And what did it show us? And what did it show us?
Nothing.
So then we don't need anything. So don't show me nothing. Just say it's coming out.
So you saying the teaser was a waste of time?
Yes, it was a waste of time. And and almost those scenes are almost a waste of time. None of those scenes seem to be telling me that anything major is happening. It's just car chases and him walking through a store and stuff. So there's that. Deadpool 2, man. I hope it's good.
I know
it's just scary because Tim Miller, the guy who directed, is gone from it. Now, if you think that all the creative juices that came from that film were from Ryan Reynolds, then that's different, right? Mm-hmm. If Ryan was the guy to be the star and the horse of that, then maybe it'll still be good. But Tim Miller out, who knows? And they are introducing a lot more characters in this one with Domino and Cable and stuff. So hopefully Wade still gets his time to shine, and hopefully the jokes are fresh. I mean, the trailers were hilarious.
Yeah,
so if they can keep up with that, the Bob Ross painting stuff is hilarious. So if they can keep up with that energy, I think we will be okay. But if Infinity War is going to be my movie of the year, I'm thinking the one that's going to fail. Yeah, I'm gonna say Venom, bro. I'm gonna say Venom. You know why? Because I also think that Aquaman is gonna be a sleeper too. I think
Aquaman's gonna be amazing.
I think Aquaman's gonna be a sleeper because of the fact that Wonder Woman wasn't directed by Zack Snyder, and blew people away. It was a different director. They had to build an entire world, and people seem to be in on that. And with this, there's gonna be a different director. They're gonna have to build Atlantis. Mira and Volko and all those people there. Black Manta's gonna be in it, bro. Like. I will not be surprised if they take this entire year just to get it right. They only have one thing to worry about, and it's getting that movie right. Come on, Aquaman, do it. We're already going to see one reluctant king on the throne earlier this year. Let's end with a bang with another one. So I'm going to go Infinity War and Venom as my least favorite. I guess that's a good place to end this off, though. Anything you want to say about this year, 2018, or last year in comics?
I mean, no, actually, every year I feel blessed. I can't even. Yeah, I can't ask for anything more because I know it's well paced. I'm getting not too much, but not too little. So
you know what? I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Also, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage dropped this year. Mm-hmm. Which one are we gonna cover?
Jessica Jones.
That's what you want to cover this year? All right, so you heard it here. Season 2 of Jessica Jones will be covered by the Major Issues podcast. Do you want to like binge and then just go straight through, or you want to do like an episodic thing? I guess we could talk about that in secret. Everyone's listening to our meeting right now.
Yeah, hustlers.
But Jessica Jones comes out next month, everyone. So be ready because you'll be having the greatest guys talking about the greatest things that come to comic books and comic book media. Thank you for being here as far as CBC Awards go. If you guys all look underneath your seats, you will see the instructions of how to rate and review Major Issues on iTunes. Because if you go ahead and rate us on iTunes and review us on iTunes, not only do we get the true nitty-gritty of how to become a better podcast, but more people can read your reviews and go, oh, that sounds like something I like. I want that. Our views are growing. It's happening. I'm looking at the graphs. I'm looking at the infographics. Major Issues is becoming a major issue. Ooh. And since I've been to the future, I can already tell you that we become bigger and better than we've ever known, but we only get there because of you guys. So don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and just find our podcast wherever podcasts are found. Stitcher, Podbean, Podcast Addict, iTunes, Google Major Issues, and we'll pop up first. If you Google Major Issues Podcast, we'll be the first search on your Google search because we are the only ones. We are the best ones, and we are brought to you by ComicBook Clique. And if you like ComicBook Clique and you just want to see what we're doing on that side of things, as far as Facebook and YouTube are concerned, Major Issues is just our podcast avenue. Comic Book Clique encompasses all the greatest and latest things to come to comic books and comic book media. We're posting memes all the time and doing reviews. So go ahead and go check out that. And all you have to do is go to facebook.com/comicbookclick, Instagram at comicbookclick, or use the hashtag comicbookclick to talk about all the newest and hottest and greatest and latest things to come to comic book and comic book media.
Woo!
And we do shows like this. We do award shows. This tie's getting a little tight, though. I think I might take this off.
Take it off. Mine's off already.
Oh my God.
Around on my head.
Yours was off when
like a present.
Yours was off on X23 one debut of the year. You're like, this is gonna be an easy show. They're picking all the good answers, and you guys did. You guys made this award show even better. Don't forget that you guys can always send feedback to comicbookclick@gmail.com about any of these episodes, and we will read them live on air. I know this one we didn't give a lot of time for the readers or the listeners because they voted. They already got their voices right here. We're speaking on behalf of you with this award show. But hopefully when we do our Jessica Jones reviews, you guys can write in if you guys are watching alongside and let us know what you think about that. So many ways to reach us. So many ways to see what we're doing here at Major Issues and Comic Book Clique. But you got to make sure you're staying tuned because we don't get bigger or better without you guys. Thank you so much. My name is George Serrano, a.k.a. The Don. This has been the Major Issues episode covering the CBC Awards for 2017.
Who I am, your guy, Cloudus Maximus.
Yes, you are. And I guess we'll bid you guys farewell. The music, you hear that music? The music is playing to play us off because our speech was way too long. But I want to thank everyone that got me here. I want to thank God. I want to thank the Lord above. I want to thank my mama. I love you, mama. And I want to remind you guys all that you, yes, you, are worthy.